Welcome to Caddie Quick Clips, your quick guide to successful drawing and modelling with Caddie. When we create our walls using the AEC tools within Caddie, we can govern how the wall junctions are made. So to have a look at that in more detail, we're just going to create a simple rectangular plan here. Right click close, just using the snap to the grid here, and we'll abort that. So here we have our simple wall. I'm going to just drop in another wall here, and one I'm going to drop from the top to the bottom, and another one I'm going to drop just to the inside walls there. And we'll see that they operate differently. So this wall joining in, this wall not. So let's have a look at what is actually going on in the formation of the walls. Here, to do that, we're going to use diagnostic. So this diagnostic view shows us that we have here and here the walls actually meeting up, which shows us in medium detail that they actually join here, so that the junctions are made. Whereas here, if we go to diagnostic mode, we see that the walls don't actually meet. Back into medium detail, and we'll take a look at how we can affect that. Looking at our wall here, if we go to object properties, so just selecting it, then selecting object properties, we see that when we created the wall we had a cleanup radius of 0. If we were to change that to a figure in excess of the distance from the end of the wall to the control line of the wall, so 301 for instance, with our thickness of 300, you see that it now joins in both ends. So that's one very easy way to make wall junctions. Keep the cleanup radius to a minimum as a general rule, and then they can be changed at a later date to make things join in. And here, if we go back to our diagnostic mode, we can see that we have circles which include the length of the control line of the wall there, which means that they will actually join into that wall, so they're within that zone. When we select a wall, so we'll just select our wall here, we find that as well as the control points for moving our wall, which where we can move them literally in any direction we like, we also have the extender or reducer where we can move it backwards and forwards along the length of the wall. And then there's a third arrow. When I pick the third arrow, if I were to bring that in here, we'll see that that's now reduced that cleanup radius, and if we go back to our medium detail view, you can see that we now have an override on that end, so that end doesn't join up, whereas that end does. Just going back to our diagnostic view, we'll see that the arrow direction around the outside we're keeping consistent to make sure that the junctions are as easy as possible. If we pick on our wall and change it to the other direction, we'll see that now the wall, despite in medium detail looking as if they are joined corner to corner, in reality they're not. So it's a good idea to keep the walls flowing around in a consistent direction. A further thing we can do to govern whether walls will join or not is to use cleanup groups. Now let's pick the wall here and go to object properties. We'll see that the cleanup group is standard, and when we pick on the little arrow there, we'll see that the only cleanup group we have in this drawing at the moment is standard. Now if we want walls not to join in to other groups, we can create a new cleanup group and assign that different cleanup group so that it won't join in. So how do we do that? Well, we go to our AEC tools at the top there, Style Manager, and we come to our architectural objects. We look down the list and we see wall cleanup group definitions, and here, as we saw, we only have standard. So if we were to copy that, so now we have one we can call new group, or anything you choose, we now have a second cleanup group within our drawing. Close that, select once again our wall, right click Object Properties, and we see in the cleanup groups we now have the new group listed. So if we pick our new cleanup group and then see back at our medium detail view, the wall no longer joins in with the wall that we had. So there we have basic principles, keeping the direction of the walls when they're drawn consistent, using the diagnostic mode to determine where the walls are actually drawn to and from, and then using cleanup groups in order to govern whether walls automatically join in or not. For more Caddie quick clips and information on maximising your own productivity using Caddie, go to www.caddiesoftware.com.